Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of the Bolt City Podcast. Dave Palais, Josh Pele, Mario Heron. A lot going on as the Chargers get ready for their second preseason game. A lot of people are very excited about what they saw in week one. I saw a lot of people kind of echoing, guys, some of the stuff that we said after the first game. This is a time of year we start paying attention to what's going on with other teams. I don't know about you, but I'm looking at who guys are signing, which guys are getting hurt on non-contact injuries, which is always scary. I'll be honest with you, I'm one of those guys that kind of crossing my fingers, don't want to hear any Charger news at all, but you're hearing other teams where people are getting injured on a regular basis. And one of the things we've talked about on this show is all of us love the TV show Hard Knocks. We look forward to it. Mario, I think, likes it more than anybody because he even watches the one in the middle of the season. He's all in on Hard Knocks, but it's the Jets this year. And I'll tell you, I'll go first and just tell you I'm a fan of the show because the one thing they're doing with this Hard Knocks, they're using all the main characters, not people that you never heard of before. It's Aaron Rodgers, and it's the #1 defensive player rookie of the year and the #1 offensive player rookie of the year. And you're seeing their best defensive player. You're seeing the guys that people know who don't follow the Jets. And I kind of like the way HBO has gone about that. Some people don't like the format at all and not a fan of the show at all. Just kind of curious, what are your impressions? And we'll get into what the Jets did roster move wise and why all of a sudden they became more interesting.
Sorry, are we going with me or Mario? Who are we going with first?
You go first.
Mario's beat
All
red.
right.
He's pissed right now. I can see right now.
No,
because I know he's not a fan of Aaron Rodgers. Okay, so
Yeah.
you're not gonna like what I'm about to say right now.
Okay.
I really like Aaron Rodgers on the show. I think he's been really cool to Zach Wilson. I think he's trying to teach Zach Wilson. He could be a complete jerk. I don't think he's acting like that. Maybe it's because the cameras are on him, which is probably what you're about to say right now. He's acting fake. Seems from what everybody says about him that he is the smartest guy on the field by far, kind of like he's in slow motion, which I think is cool to look at. Him picking up the grass and playing with the dirt, to me is interesting just because I'm a quarterback. I've seen people do that, licking their fingers. I always like, what kind of competitive advantage can you get? I like Aaron Rodgers. People think they're showing him too much. I can't get enough of them putting him on camera because he's definitely the #1. Sauce Gardner's great. Garrett Wilson's great. Give me more Aaron Rodgers. I want to know what makes him tick, what makes him Aaron Rodgers. And why do you hate him? Is it just because you think he's being fake, or what's your reason?
Okay, so first off, no one licks their fingers more than Drew Brees. I mean, that guy was like every 2 seconds he was licking his fingers. Like his fingers had to like adapt to it and get like what the way they look after he shower or swim. That goes just way too much. I'm fine with Aaron. It's funny to me. It's funny to me. I don't want Hard Knocks. It's a classic thing I said. Like I don't want the Hard Knocks. I want the attention. And suddenly now we have Hard Knocks, and you are the poster child, and you give Hard Knocks everything that they want. Like that's all he is giving it to him, giving it to him, giving it to him. It does. I'm not gonna lie to you. It does make you like him more. Like he is more likable in a Jet uniform. He is more likable in the show. I will give him that. But it's just funny to me. To all the back talk, all the, we don't want it. And now like, you're so happy to be on it. Fantastic. Also, I know he's one of the most talented QBs of all time. Let's collectively get up from our knees and realize there's other players on the team. It's a great story. He's really good. I get it. He's good. We spent the first 2 episodes focusing on how good he is. Let's move on. I want to hear more about Breece Hall's comeback. I want more about Quinnen Williams. I want more on the first-round draft picks. Like, I want more stuff on that than let's just have this session of where we all stare at Aaron Rodgers and we think how beautiful and perfect you are. Like, awesome. Congratulations. We got it. Let's move on. I've had enough. Also, Zach Wilson, if I had to choose between hanging out with the #1 person I hate in the world or Zach Wilson, I think I'd choose the #1 person I hate in the world. His like pump up speech he's doing, like you brought out the sleeve today, boy. You brought out the sleeve today. Here's just the thing. If you're a white kid and you're a white guy in the NFL, just don't mic him up with another white kid trying to be cool. It doesn't work. It just doesn't. It doesn't work. You sound cringy. You sound weird, especially when it's to BYU. It's just not going to work. That's fine. I wouldn't sound cool. I would hate me. I would punch myself in the face. If you heard what I said before a game, I would probably think, yeah, this kid blows. That's just rule #1. So it's what it is. It's just how you gotta, what are you going to do? But like, it's that stuff I could do enough of. So no more Zach Wilson. prep talk things, that'd be nice.
All right. So here's it's kind of funny. I look at the Jets and I look at that organization. We talked about this, how the Colts kind of lucked out, meaning literally they lucked out. They had Peyton Manning. Then Peyton Manning has the injuries and they got to decide, what are we going to do? Peyton's gone. Boom. You suck for luck. You get another franchise quarterback. I mean, a lot of times these are once in 50-year players. The Jets got Brett Favre when he was done. They had Joe Namath, and everyone still talks about Broadway Joe and everything else. But again, that was 1967. Brett Favre was a shadow of what he really was. Aaron Rodgers is still getting a really good quarterback. And for the Jets and the number one media market, we said this when they signed him, going, he might be the biggest star in New York right now, bigger than Aaron Judge, which I think he is.
Yeah.
I like the way he has come off in this. He has surprised me from everything you heard in Green Bay. I mean, if I'm Jordan Love and all those stories were true, I'm going, what the hell? He's so much nicer to Zach Wilson than he ever was to me. He acted like I wasn't even in the room and did nothing to help me out. He was so upset with the Packers front office for drafting Jordan Love instead of getting him wide receiver help or running back help or any kind of skilled position help, that he was like, all right, I want nothing to do with this guy. I'm going to take it out on Jordan Love. But everything he does, I'll be honest with you, I think it's kind of cool. The way he throws is cool. The way he does the fake handoffs, and then he's not throwing it, and he's not handing the ball off, and he's throwing. And the way they split the screen the other day on which is which, and that Wilson called him out for basically being lazy, and then he was wrong, and you're going, this guy is a perfectionist. And this is where I became a bigger fan of his than I was. And I know, Mara, as you said, I'm on my knees. I got it. I'm watching that quarterback show that you guys told me to watch. Yeah. And I'm watching Mahomes, who I think is maybe the greatest quarterback of all time. And I'm watching Kirk Cousins, who's a really good player, not a Hall of Famer, really good player, and Mariota, who's a disappointment. But I'm watching these three guys who are all NFL vets. Aaron Rodgers has taken that position to a whole nother level, a level I've never seen as a football fan. The way he's talking about when he throws the ball to the right side and which way the ball is going to go and why you got to do this and why you got to do that. And as much as, all of us love Phillip Rivers, we've said this before, there's nothing cool about Phillip Rivers. He doesn't even cuss, super nice guy, he doesn't cuss. Okay, hold on a second. Okay. And he throws the ball so dorky. There's nothing cool about it. And Mara, you said it. Even the throws that are 15 yards look like he'd have put everything he had to even get it 15 yards. Every throw he made, no matter how far it was everything his 6'5", 250-pound body could muster up to get the ball there. And Aaron just sitting there throwing off his back foot. Whoosh, whoosh, and I'm like, dude, it's cool as hell. And he's so damn accurate that I love the fact that his teammates and coaches can't get enough of the fact he's on our team.
If we had Phillip Rivers in his heyday do the Hard Knocks, I would argue, and like if it was in this day and age with Twitter being as big, social media big as whatever, I'd argue he would take over the NFL. Because the no cussing trash talk always plays, and how ugly it is that it's so pretty. It's a bulldog. It's literally an English bulldog. It's so ugly, it's cute. That's Phillip Rivers. It's so ugly, it's cute, it's good, and he's amazing at what he does. I think he would have taken off in popularity. I think he would have taken off as one of people's favorite QBs ever.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree with that at all.
And the only thing I'll say this about Aaron, you're right. Some of the best quarterbacks you've ever seen. Dude, if you put – I know Mahomes in a quarterback show, but like if you put Mahomes, Allen, Herbert now, not when, he was still behind Taylor, and like you put any of those top-tier QBs in there, you're getting the same session. We're getting, like, dude, if they did Mahomes Hard Knocks, they would be like, literally look how spectacular this guy is. This guy is probably the best football player we've ever seen. You do the same thing with Josh Allen. You do the same thing with Herbert. You do Burrow. Are you kidding me? The session they'd have with Burrow. Oh my God. Like, it would be unbelievable. So like, that's like the other part too, where like people are going nuts about it. They should. At the same time, I'm like, hey, they would do that. Every other QB would look just as great. But that's my spiel. Father Phil.
Hard Knocks completely missed the boat by not having the Chargers. And I know you have to not make the playoffs to be on the show. Well, dude, the Chargers were right there. They make the playoffs one year, then not make the playoffs the next year. The Chargers were an opportunity that Hard Knocks totally missed out on. With all the star talent they had, would have been great. Like I said a couple shows ago, the Chargers-Rams Hard Knocks was easily the worst ever during COVID. They couldn't get anything. And then Dave has a friend who said that the Jets aren't allowing people into their meeting rooms and all the in-depth conversations. That's why you're seeing a lot of on-field stuff. I think the best part about Hard Knocks is getting in the GM room, right? When they cut guys or tell guys, what you need to do. We're not getting any of that in this Hard Knocks because they're not allowing them in there. That's something that the show, I think, is definitely missing. CJ Mosley is a guy, and I'm an Alabama fan. We know this. Why aren't we seeing CJ Mosley more? He's the best player on the defense with him and Quinton Williams, 2 Alabama guys, 2 best players on the defense with Sauce Gardner, 3 star players, right? Why can't we get CJ Mosley? He's been in the league for a long time. He's a star player. He had 158 tackles last year. I'm with Mario. Love Aaron Rodgers. I'll take more Aaron Rodgers, but let's get CJ Mosley and these other guys that you never hear from. You'll never see CJ Mosley do an interview, doesn't talk. You never see him in the media. I want to know more about these guys if they can, because the Jets are a very intriguing team. I think Hard Knocks has completely dropped the boat in recent years doing lackluster teams, boring teams, and this is actually a good one. So to make the most out of it, I want to see guys like CJ Mosley, who's the captain of the defense, and maybe some other players too.
All right, 2 things to be interested in, and I know we're talking Jets, but the Jets, in my opinion, are going to get almost as much publicity, or will be second this year to the Dallas Cowboys because of Aaron Rodgers and Hard Knocks. You're going to see so much Jets talk; it's ridiculous. What I like how Hard Knocks has done, they've exposed the Jets for their biggest weakness. The offensive line's a disaster. It's a disaster. And so you got the guy that you're so happy to have in your uniform who you can't protect. Aaron Rodgers knows it. He's like, man, who's going to protect me? I also love the fact that when the tight end ran the wrong route and they scored a touchdown, Aaron Rodgers was pissed. And he was like, why are we celebrating this? And this is why I think, honestly, they made a really good hire in bringing in Nathaniel Hackett, meaning because Aaron Rodgers respects him. He does not respect the head coach. The fact that he thought you can't let that stuff go, and he's looking around at every guy on the team and every coach in the organization approve of the 7 points, but Aaron Rodgers knows down the line that will hurt us. When the guy doesn't run the right route, that will hurt this team. Why are we celebrating a preseason touchdown when that was a mistake? And he's looking around like, you guys don't understand what's happening here. That's not good for us at all. It doesn't matter what the outcome was in short term. That's going to hurt us down the line. The Jets are exposed for their offensive line. And so that being said, I want to jump into what they're doing. And one of the reasons for people who are, I understand we're here on the Bolt City podcast, we're talking Jets, is because the Jets and the Chargers could face each other in the first game of the playoffs. And these are potential matchups. The Jets went and got another running back. Okay. So Mario, this is a pretty crowded running back room, right? Pretty crowded. You have 3 guys now that all could be considered number ones, but yet they didn't hit their biggest need. It was kind of like, you know what I mean? I already have 4 cars, but I have a house that has no roof, but I'm going to buy a 5th car. What are we doing here? You can't live this way. And so when the Jets go and they get Dalvin Cook, which is the big signing, how can you live this way when you can't protect the most important person on your franchise?
I think also to that point, one, I just want to say this. Watch out for Michael Carter to become a really big part of Hard Knocks next week when Dalvin Cook comes in and his snaps get lower and they're going to do Cry Me a River stuff. 2, your running back's only as good as your O-line, right? Like Eckler is kind of a perfect situation, right? Like his biggest thing is because he doesn't get a lot of rushing yards, was O-line's not that good on the ground. You can get Dalvin Cook, who's arguably top 5 running back in the league, right? 6th in rushing in 2022, 5th in 2021, 2nd in 2020. He will only take you as far as that O-line goes, right? And that's just the name of the game. And your quarterback will only be as good as your O-line will let him be. I'm with you. This seemed like how can we be a superstar team? How can we be a name team, a jersey seller team? That's what this move felt like. Did you want Cook? Yeah. Did you really need him? I would argue no, you didn't really need him. You need more O-line help. You need more O-line guys. You need someone that can kind of come in and kind of help that group. Now, was that market huge? No, not a lot to pick from. But the fact of the matter is, like you said, you got these nice cars, but your oil sucks. So what are you going to do with those cars? Well, you don't got a lot of gas. What are you going to do with that? You got a big fire pit. You got a very small tank of gasoline. You got not a lot of matches. Like, what the hell are you going to do? So that's the way I kind of look at it. Is the Jets are an extremely talented team. You want to play name game? You can go name game and name so many different players. And their D-line's amazing. But at the same time, you face a Bills pass rush. You face a Dolphins pass rush. You face a Patriots pass rush who has a sack leader that was top 3, like led the league most of the year last year, who's all coming back. That's a lot of guys you got to face. Not to mention, I mean, they face us in November, and that's Boza and Matt coming your way. And if Chris Rumpf keeps coming and Tuli ends up turning really well, that's a scary front. So it's congrats, you got Cook. You stole him from the Dolphins, which helps us week 1 and it helps them from facing him as a division opponent. But at the same time, I think you added to a room that was already pretty decent and instead didn't help a group that needs a lot of help at the moment.
Yeah, what do you really have if you don't have an offensive line? Their left tackle, Dwayne Brown, is almost 40 years old, came back from a serious injury for this season. Their right tackle, Micaiah Becton, who was supposed to be a great player, first-round pick a few years ago, is coming back from a serious injury. He's never played right tackle, is completely does not want to do it. He keeps saying, I'm not a right tackle, I'm a left tackle. They're not happy. They don't have a center. This would be really interesting. You got all these star players, but nobody protect any of them. I don't know. I really hope nothing good happens to the Jets. By far the best division in football. It's kind of like what the AFC was last year, I think, is what we're going to see with the AFC East. I don't know. I think the Jets are an interesting team. Chargers-wise, are you guys following these practices, these joint practices against the Saints? Do you guys read into these a lot? What's your take on this?
Okay, so again, the Saints play the Chargers in game 2 of the preseason. This is a Charger home game this Saturday, right? And so you have the Chargers facing. It would have been great if it was, Rivers and Breeze and all that they're playing, but that's not what it is, and that's not what would have happened in preseason anyway. But there was always a connection there with the Saints. I'm sure most Charger fans always paid attention to Drew Brees' career, and one of the rare guys who left the Chargers, who I think most Charger fans cheered for, even when he was on the Saints. Nobody hated Drew Brees or said F Drew Brees. It was always a likable guy. You still see him around San Diego all the time. He was at a Padre game just 2 days ago, the whole deal. But there's always a connection there. And there, of course, there's Sproles, and there are different connections with the Chargers and the Saints over the years. I said to you guys, I think a week ago or a couple weeks ago, about how these practices are always better than the games you see in preseason when the cameras are out and the crowd is there. But what you're seeing a lot of, and this kind of goes back to the first thing I said when we started, man, there are a lot of fights. And of course, there's going to be a little bit of tempers. The deal is, I just don't want to lose anybody. I'm looking at a veteran team, meaning the Chargers, and I don't want some guy on the Saints trying to impress Dennis Allen and take out one of our guys that can't afford to get hurt.
What's your guys' opinions on the fights?
It's ridiculous. I've never seen so many fights in practice except for this year. Michael Parsons today throwing punches off a guy's helmet with his bare hand. What are you doing, dude? Like, why? What are you going to get out of this? And it's a direct attack on number 63 on the Cowboys from what he did yesterday when we record this show. It's the dumbest thing in the world. Robert Saleh for the Jets promoting fighting. What are you doing, dude? Let's say somebody really good like Quentin Williams gets hurt because of a fight. You just look like the biggest idiot in the world for saying that's what you wanted. Sorry for cutting off, Mario. What do you think?
No. I was actually curious because I'm on the take of as long as it stays on the field and it's not like the Parsons like swinging like he's in the corner trying to get out against Muhammad Ali or Floyd Mayweather. Like that's okay. Let's not do that. But we're going in a drill. I'm fighting you. You're fighting me, blocking. And then there's a little shove after, and there's just a little shove and a little trash talk. To me, that's fine because that's chippiness. And this is a game of football. You need chippiness. You need an attitude. But like the full-on piles on the ground fighting, I think that's a little too much. But I have no problem. And I even like when I see, all right, these are two guys going at it, competing hard, and they're smacking each other in the mouth. Now, instead of swinging on that guy, that next rep against him, you go right through him. And you kind of make your point that way. There's no need to swing, but because you don't need to swing in a game where your job is to knock the other person on their ass, So that's just my point. I'm fine with the chippiness, but I think swinging on them, get them next drill.
All right, here's how I kind of look at it. In my opinion, kind of changes a little bit. When I was younger, I think I enjoyed it a lot. Like I love to see guys who are literally fighting for paychecks. Like it could be the difference of you taking my spot, I'm no longer on the team. I'm really against it now. And I'll tell you, it's not because a man thing or soft or anything like that. You know where I'm sure that doesn't fly? And I've never asked Josh this question either. I know it doesn't fly in New England. I know it probably doesn't fly in Alabama. That's what I'm going to ask Josh. And the reason is you can't afford to let your emotions cost your team. You can't afford a 15-yard
Yeah.
penalty. You can't afford a first down. You can't afford Joey Bosa spiking his goddamn helmet in the playoffs. Stupid stuff like that. And you know which team leads the league in penalties every year? It's the Raiders. And guess what? The Raiders haven't done jack, but yet when you're out of control and you can't control your emotions when it matters the most in the fourth quarter and everybody's watching and going, this is the drive. And whether it's offense or defense, that's the stuff you have to be disciplined on most. And Belichick will cut a guy for stuff like that. Saban, I imagine, Josh, probably made you guys run or lost his mind when stuff like that happened in the fall. But my guess is the best teams are able to control their emotions. I don't know what the hell's going on in Dallas. And to be honest with you, I'm about up to here with Micah Parsons, man. I almost think everyone is getting, trust me, I've been on this show and told you what a big fan I was of Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons is getting way too much for not doing enough, in my opinion now. Because when I'm looking at these lists of best defensive players and all this stuff, I'm a big Micah Parsons fan. He's not better than Nick Bosa. He's not as important as Nick Bosa is. Yet Micah Parsons is stacked 1 or 2 as far as in the NFL on all these lists, and he hasn't done anything to help his team win in advance. That's why I look at it. As an individual, fine, but where's his team end up?
Yeah, I'm with you. I like the hockey analogy, right? Because they have like goons on their team that take care of these things.
Yeah.
I don't want my star players fighting. And I'll give you an Alabama story. I was doing the drill with the quarterback takes the snap, and then you have the defensive end go against the tackle, and I just do the drop back. Cam Robinson, who's the left tackle now for the Jacksonville Jaguars, was at Alabama when I was there, captain of the team, one of the best players. He gets in a fight with one of the backup defensive linemen, and he loses. I mean, the guy got him under him and threw him down like on his back. It was insane. Like, because Cam Robinson's like 6'8", 340 pounds. And Saban was so mad because that's one of our best players who fought a guy that we could afford to lose, was a backup. So he's thinking, what the hell are we doing if we lose Cam Robinson? He's our star left tackle. We have no chance. So I see the fight yesterday, and you bring up the Raiders. Max Crosby fighting Cam Akers. If you're the Raiders, what the hell are you doing? He's the only guy on the defense that's worth anything. Yeah. Why are you fighting? Mark Andrews has been in like 5 fights already for the Ravens. Another guy. Well, you can't afford to lose Mark Andrews. Get some of these other guys that aren't going to play to fight somebody if you need to set the tone. But I think it's the dumbest thing in the world. The bare hand punch off the helmet like Aaron Rodgers talked about in Hard Knocks. What are you going to get out of that? You're not going to win.
Mark Andrews afford a broken hand? Can he?
No, dude.
No. Baltimore can't either.
No,
not at all. And I just think it's completely ridiculous. I don't know. I'm with you. I thought it was cooler when I was younger. I don't think it's very cool anymore.
Yeah. I've done the punch of the helmet, and it really hurt my hand. I couldn't catch the ball the rest of camp. It hurt so bad. And then I got my ass kicked after it. And then I had to take my pads off and sat next to my coach. And he looked at me and goes, "What were you trying to prove?" And I was like, "Well, you ripped me for not blocking." And he goes, "So you decided to hit the one kid on the team that's going Division I?" I said, "I didn't know he was going Division I. I thought, because I put my head down to hit, I thought I was hitting the small corner, and I hit the big safety." And I lost more than that. I think my head hasn't been the same since. But anyways, that's why you don't do that.
Hey, I want to bring something up. So I like to look at the other team that the Chargers are going against to see what they say. Because, I think the writers for teams are kind of biased. The Saints put out on one of their websites that Chris Olave won every single rep today in practice against Asante Samuel Jr. and every single person he went against. They also said that Michael Thomas won nearly every rep. Does that mean anything to you? Do you look too far into that these guys are winning every single rep against our secondary? And by the way, one of the clips they put out there is Michael Thomas winning against Derwin James. So that kind of scares me a little bit.
They're 2 of the best receivers in the league, right?
No,
Michael Thomas is.
I'm going to cut you off right there. No, he's not. Dude, he hasn't played in 3 years.
Okay.
He's not one of the best receivers in the league. Chris Olave is.
Yeah.
Okay. Look, the Michael Thomas story is bizarre as hell, right? Michael Thomas and Drew Brees had a run-in around COVID. Do you remember that? And yes. Michael Thomas basically has kind of refused to play since. And it was an ugly situation. And I didn't know if Michael Thomas would ever come back and play, meaning give 100% and be dedicated to this craft. But when Michael Thomas was Michael Thomas, and I'm sure he still is, He was honestly one of the best receivers in the league. Olave's a stud. I mean, aren't they both Ohio State guys too? I mean, yeah. I mean, absolutely tremendous talent. Yeah, it bothers me that the Charger guys are getting beat, but at the same time, that's not what I think the Chargers defense is going to be. I think it's going to be different. It's different when you have a corner and you have Derwin James. You know, you're responsible for your area, kind of a deal. And the Chargers are going to go against guys that, you know, Tyreek Hill. They're going to see him in week 1. They're going to see Jalen Waddle in week 1. Those are 2 guys right there. I think I would take over both Saints receivers. And so I can't imagine the Chargers are going to give up 72 points in week 1 because of those 2 receivers. They're going to figure it out.
So I'll say the both sides of my thinking on this. The one side I have is that is like worrisome, right? Like that to not even get 1 on these guys and all the reps you get against them. Like at some point you're going to luck out. They drop a ball. They run a route where you get to read it really easily. You stay on their hip and they're not able to create separation. On the flip side of that, I'd rather have that happen on August 17th than September 17th, right? Like I'd rather get that out now than in the middle of the season, we're getting burnt by Waddle. We're getting burnt by Hill in week 1, and it's just we're getting killed. Also, like you said, I think sometimes it's hard to like on plays where like they didn't get the ball. You're like, oh, that guy's beat. And like really, that guy's beat. The corner was right on him. You're like, well, you know, they're always open. You're like, all right, dude, shut your mouth. Like that, they're not always open when J.C. Jackson's on or Derwin James or anything that way. Plus, in some of those situations, like you said, 7-on-7, or you get one-on-ones, one-on-one situations. If people that never played football, never been in football practice, one-on-one situations, it's totally designed for the receiver. You have so much field to work with, so much shit that crap you can do. So much ways you can plant your foot, so much plays you can set up your route, and a lot more time to set up your route than you would in a real situation, a real game situation. Same with 7-on-7 in similar ways. So that's, I think, the 2 sides to it. Yes, I'm like a little worrisome that they didn't even get 1, but at the same time, always try to remember the back of your mind, hey, let's get in a real play setting and let's do the dance. Let's do the deed.
Yeah, I mean, here you go. So you have the game on Saturday. What are you guys looking forward to watching? What do you want to see from the Chargers in the second preseason game? What changes are you looking for?
I'm looking for guys that we don't know what we're going to get. I want those guys to step up. Quentin Johnston, he needs to be Quentin Johnston. If Josh Palmer is the number 3 receiver, I'm sorry, I'm not big on Josh Palmer, but if Josh Palmer is the number 3 receiver, I think there's a major problem. You don't draft a guy in the first round to be a number 4 receiver. I don't care what team it is. He needs to be the number 3. He's a first round pick. And then we have Chris Rumph. If he can give any depth and provide any boost to the team, because I don't think Khalil Mack is Khalil Mack. And I love Khalil Mack's career, but that was the past, and this is now. Mack being ranked as the 38th best player in the NFL is ridiculous, frankly. So if Chris Rumph can provide anything, and then some of the other guys, on the defensive line, we need these guys to step up. Austin Johnson, Sebastian Joseph Day, I don't know how much they're going to play against the Saints, but just as a team and as a whole team, we need these guys to step up and show that they can play, because we know what we're going to get from Derwin James and Justin Herbert, but what are we going to get from the others? I think that's a major concern, and that's including Kenneth Murray. What the hell are you, man? We need these guys to step up and prove that they're NFL players, because I'm not sure that he is one. So I know that's a long-winded answer, but we need the others to step up, because I don't think the Chargers have great depth anywhere on the team except for wide receiver.
I'm really excited to see if Chris can put back-to-back weeks of good stuff on tape. I'm really excited to see that. Obviously, a lot said this past week. He's still killing it in camp. So he's building off that. Let's build into week 2. It's something I'd really love to see. Like you said, Max old. He's going to get hurt. He's going to miss a couple games this year. How well can you step up in those moments? From what we've heard so far, Rumph does great until the ones, and then you struggle with the ones. Saints are playing the ones in the first quarter. He's going to go up against their ones after going to go up against them for the past couple of days. Let's see what he's able to do. Let's see what he's able to put on film for us to evaluate him as a player. The other thing I really, really want to see is in the first game, we saw right away Quinn Johnson was going to get the ball, right? Like everyone knew it. He gets screen passer, he gets crossing route early, gets a deep hitch route early, and then one-on-one coverage, gets a deep ball. It was obvious. We're going to set things up for Johnston, and we're going to see how well he does, right? We're going to see how well he performs. I want that for Darius Davis. I want screen passes for him. I want reverses for him. I want routes for him. I want to see what the hell this kid can do because I think he can be a really explosive player for this team. Obviously, on top of the special team stuff that he's going to do for us as well. But I want to see how special he can be on the field. I want to see some screen passes for him. I want to see some wheel routes. I want to see just some creativity on what we can expect from him and kind of get him a little bit more experience, get him, his juices flowing and kind of get him used to that NFL speed. That's the number one thing I'm really excited to see is what ways can we kind of give Davis a little bit more of the taste, a little bit more bigger bite of the apple, see how he performs under the bright lights.
I'm telling you right now, if I'm the Chargers, I don't do anything with Davis in these next 2 preseason games. I don't show anything. To me, Mara, you pointed it out in that last show. This guy could be such a weapon. And I keep thinking if Davis was the kind of guy that Andy Reid had a hold of, you wouldn't see anything to make you think, hey, watch out when he comes in. Because he's the kind of guy you see plays run for him for the first time when you need him most in a red zone situation. And I honestly, I would not flip my cards over if I was the Chargers. Kellen Moore can get everything he wants out of him to me in practice and camp to get an idea, could he do it in the game? But I wouldn't let anyone else know that we actually consider this guy a real threat. That's just me. That's what I would do. But I do believe, I'm with you, Mario. I think the guy's a tremendous weapon. How could he not be with the speed he has? For me, guys, Quentin Johnson is the number one guy. I mean, he reverted right back to every bad habit in the first game. It couldn't have gone worse for him. Everyone was talking about what they liked from the Chargers and how they came out in game 1 against the Rams. Man, it was such a disappointment. And if I was him, I'd be one of those guys where I didn't sleep that night of the game. I'm going the whole week working as hard as I can to make sure that I break all my bad habits. But everything he was criticized for, he did, and it was extremely disappointing. Forget about the touchdown. The guy averaged 3 yards a catch. Can't have that. It's supposed to be your long ball threat. He averaged 3 yards a catch is ridiculous. Chris Rumph, I am kind of curious. Has he flipped a switch? And if he has, don't be surprised. There's always that crazy veteran that gets released. If Chris Rumph is the guy that he showed in week 1 against the Rams and is the same guy to the next 2 preseason games against the Saints and 49ers, Khalil Mack would be that vet that all of a sudden is released. And you go, wow, Khalil Mack released. You know how much money that would save the Chargers and the cap? It's a huge advantage to clear that cap space. But then at the same time, Josh, going to what you said about Murray, is he a proven NFL player? It's time to step up. Let's be honest. If Murray was a 6th-round pick and not a 1st-round pick, he would have been gone a long time ago. The only reason he's still there is because guys are sitting there trying to justify their jobs. He's a sieve. There's nothing there that makes you go, this guy's helps our team be better. He's not. It's very frustrating seeing Murray on the field. For me, it is, because he's nowhere close to the player they thought he was going to be. And he's exactly the player, not an NFL expert. He's exactly the player I thought he was going to be. I watched Oklahoma defense for years. It's exactly what I thought they were getting.
Contract year.
Good. Let someone else be dumb enough to give it to him.
Dan Henley, he's another player to watch because if he performs well, he will be the starter over Kenneth Murray. I'm with Dave completely. I know, Mario, you're with us too. I believe the Chargers are at wits' end with Kenneth Murray. We've seen enough. You're not that guy. You're not that guy, pal, from the Twitter video. But he's just not very good. And he led the Oklahoma defense to a team that gave up 40 points a game, I believe, in college. They were so bad, but yet you're going to draft this guy. What made you? I think they thought they're going to get Kyler Murray. They got the wrong K. Murray from Oklahoma. Dude, he's horrible. I'm just tired of watching him play. He's fast. I get it. What does that mean if you're not making plays? Another guy I want to watch is Elijah Dotson. Is he going to do it again? Kind of like Chris Rumph. I think the Chargers definitely have an open spot behind Austin Eckler. If we can get somebody that makes plays like him, that'd be great. The Chargers have been really lucky with that in the past with Austin Eckler and Michael Turner and these great backup running backs. If we can get another good one here, that'd be big time because we don't have any good backups in the running back position. Max Duggan, I mean, you kind of want to see if this guy can play a little bit too. You never know if Justin Herbert's going to get hurt. So I'm kind of interested in watching all the rookies. I think Keelan Doss could be a guy that makes the team, that makes an impact. Jalen Guyton's still on the team. People forget about that. Is he going to do anything? It's interesting, man. Preseason is kind of boring because you don't know all the names, but people do win positions.
I'm just always going to watch Duggan because you're just curious. Like when you see a guy that was that good in college and like literally took his heart out of his chest and put it on the line in the Big 12 championship. I want to see that every single time. Like I'm just interested to see how he's going to do, how he's going to perform. Wish nothing but the best. Hope he's good. Saints are playing their starters. I think I've already mentioned that, but in the first quarter, I don't know about you guys. I'm still pretty fine with Staley resting a good amount of the boys. Let's ice pack it up, bubble wrap, and give them security. But that's interesting. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens. Can I throw some bets your way?
Yeah, go ahead. I got one
right.
I want to throw at you too. Go ahead.
Okay. Oh, easy killer. All right, easy. Suddenly the only man that's not in the same time zone, and you get a little snappy. All right.
I'm just glad you got pictures on the wall behind your head. Kind of the last show moving to Chicago, I didn't see any Jordan or Charger stuff.
So quick story about this one. My dad saw that it was bought, and my dad thought it was a gift for him because it's actually like it's authentic, like it's real, like that's actually autographed and blah blah blah. And on Christmas morning when he saw it was given to me, he was really mad at my mom, like really mad. I was like 12, like he didn't talk to her for like a week. He thought it was that one, and then that one I won at an auction, silent auction. I was pumped. I was drunk.
We can't see the other one.
Oh, it's Magic and Jordan, and it's signed by Magic. I thought it'd be funny to just add $1 next to it, and the guy came around and he goes, pretty good poster, right? And I was like, yeah. He goes, it's real. I was like, cool. He goes, and you just won it. And I go, really? I was like,
no way.
All right. Well, I put 301 because I thought it was a funny joke. And he goes, yeah. The auction just ended. I said,
dude, I literally have a Magic Johnson autographed picture right behind me as well. That's funny.
Oh yeah.
Right. Larry Bird and Magic. There you go.
Hope his blood's not on it. All right. So props we got.
What the hell,
Derek. What?
Jesus. Nothing.
Derek Carr passing. So these props. So for people wondering, like these props are actually not up yet on a lot of sportsbook. I had to do like a lot of digging, and I couldn't find any prices anywhere. So sportsbooks, let's get on that for next time. But so props, just let me know if you take it. Derek Carr, I mentioned Saint Stars are playing the first quarter. So would you take Derek Carr for a passing touchdown? And maybe they do a little quick first drive and test out some things.
I would.
100%. I don't think the Chargers are going to play a lot of guys on defense.
Yeah, I think that's going to be easiest one. Darius Davis, anytime touchdown scorer?
No.
Nope.
Ah, damn it. That was my favorite one.
Was it really?
Yeah, I think I really do think
he's betting with their heart. Stop betting with their heart.
Okay, no, hear me out. I think he's going to get the Quinn treatment. I think what Quinn got in the first game, I think Darius is going to get that for a little bit in this game. I think they're just going to go, hey, let's just roll a dice. Let's play a little fun game of let's see what he can do.
Okay.
Let me ask you a question. A question before you keep going. Where does he rank amongst important players on the offense, skill players?
All like everyone included?
Yeah, just anybody that's going to touch the ball.
All right. Well, we got Herbert's 1. I think Eckler's 2.
Take Herbert out of it. Guys that are going to score touchdowns.
Okay, so
catch the ball.
Catch the ball. So I think it's still Eckler just from last year. I'll do that.
Yeah, he's definitely up there.
Williams, Palmer. I mean, he's still
taking both. I'm taking both tight ends over him. Both of them. Everett and Parham. Dude, he's like 7.
All right, fine.
I don't know how many touchdowns he's going to get this year, and I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think they're going to use him as much as we hope we would.
But I think he'll get a touchdown in this game.
I think what Dave said, they want him for punt and kick return. I don't think they're going to risk him getting hurt, but who knows? I could be wrong.
Why would you show it? I'll tell you what, I would be super pissed off if they'd show something. I really would. Like, why?
Okay, fair.
I'm just saying Andy Reid wouldn't. You know, I hate to say it, the bar is with Andy Reid. Andy Reid shows me something once a game of a play I've never seen before. You could do that with this kid. You literally could run a play with this kid in the red zone that you've never seen before.
All right. Well, if he scores, I expect an apology from both of you. Chris Olave. Yeah. I'm kidding. Chris Olave touchdown, first quarter, anytime.
I'm not sure how much they're going to use Olave.
Yeah.
Josh knows him better than I, but Josh and I know that family pretty well.
Oh, really?
I played high school ball with his brother.
Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that. Big Ten, in case you're wondering.
Yep.
Yeah. And then would you guys, so it's over unders 30.5 points. Overs hit actually a pretty consistent mark last week in week 1 of preseason games, which is contrary to belief because usually the unders hit. So would you take a little over 38.5?
Yes.
I say yes. Both teams throw the ball a lot.
Yeah. We're all in same with except for the Davis one. I would take the over as well.
Okay. All right, you done? Can I throw one at you, Mario?
Of course.
Okay. 100% serious on this one. All right. You might have to look this up. I've told you before on this show that my Justin Herbert pick is my pick for MVP.
Yeah.
What are the odds Derek Carr's MVP? Now that sounds crazy. What I just said. Hold on.
Give me a second to find them, and I'll tell you it.
Okay. And the reason I say this, I had no idea until I brought it up to you guys 2 weeks ago. The Saints schedule is so bad. It's insane. Like, I think they have 2 high school teams on their schedule this year. The Saints, we talked about it. There's no one like in the postseason they face on their schedule. They have such an easy schedule inside the division. Carr might put up some crazy numbers that all of a sudden he's an MVP candidate. The Saints literally could go 15-2. And then how do you not give it to Carr?
He's 40-1.
Mario, there's your money right there. There's your money.
40-1.
Who's scoring the touchdowns?
They have a lot of guys that can score touchdowns.
They just signed Jimmy Graham. He's only 100. Yeah.
Alvin Kamara is not going to be playing for a few games. Jarvis Landry's not on the team anymore. Michael Thomas gets hurt waking up in the morning. I don't know who's going to score all the touchdowns.
You got Olave. You got guys.
Olave's great.
So I wouldn't take this bet because I think it's a dumb bet. But the one thing I'll point to your favor, Dave, is that there's a Saints Odyssey guy that came on one of our stations for BetQL recently.
Yeah.
And he was saying a big thing of importance for the Saints right now is tight ends in the red zone package. They want to throw a lot of touchdown passes with their tight ends. So that could influence the number, not influence the number, but could help you out in that argument of, yeah, he'll probably have a little bit more touchdown passes than, let's say, the guys above him of Geno Smith, Brock Purdy, and, Fields in that matter, because apparently when he hit the red zone, it's going to be a big, let's lob it up and get the tight ends catching.
Yeah, I don't know. I just was thinking about it as we looked at that schedule. I'm not a Carr fan. I'm just going, man, things set up pretty good for this guy who has a huge chip on his shoulder. He's already familiar with Dennis Allen. And all of a sudden, here he is playing the weakest schedule that I've ever seen in the history of the NFL.
Well, it's clipped, so.
Yeah, go ahead. That's fine.
No
Yeah, I might send you guys $100 to place that bet for me.
All right. I'll just keep $100.
Go ahead. You could be the house. You go ahead. You want to take that gamble? You be the house.
100%. Oh, yeah. Actually, yeah. 100%.
Okay. I'll send it to you. You be the house.
All right. I'll be the house.
All right.
You have to pay
what do you owe me when he wins MVP?
It means I'm not buying a house for a little bit, but we can get it on we'll get on a payment plan like Karma.
You start with that autograph magic picture behind your head.
Yeah, that's I'll send you that for $300. I got a bullet that makes good smoothies and an air fryer, so that should give me the $5.
An air fryer. All right, good deal. All right, so are you going to bet this game, by the way, Mario? You betting Chargers Saints?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kiss it on the mouth and bet it.
Now, do you bet with your heart or your head in this one?
I'm taking the over.
You're betting, but you aren't betting which team wins. You're just betting over.
If it gets down to when I was looking at today, a lot of places it's 3.5, and the one place it's at 3, I don't have money in. But if that gets bet down to 3 at any point, which I doubt it will, because Saints are playing starters, I would take the 3. So I might deposit money and take the 3, but not the 3.5, and then take the over.
All right, look this one up for me real quick, Mario. Okay, Ravens. What's the spread? And the reason I say this, you guys know how many games? Josh, do you know how many games the Ravens have won in preseason in a row?
Isn't it like 28 or something?
24.
24.
That's freaking nuts.
Ravens. Yeah. -3 against the Commanders.
What do you think? That's a hate game, right? That's one where you're fighting for the audience. Basically, you have 2 teams within 45 minutes of each other.
Yep.
Hey, are they changing their name, by the way, back to what it was?
To what?
Is that really going to happen?
Oh, yeah, it's like a pension. Yeah.
Is that actually going to happen?
They're going. Wait, hold on. Are you guys joking? They're going to change it back to Redskins?
It's talked about. I don't know if it's going to happen.
Yeah,
they got a pension going though. A petition, not pension. Petition.
They want. It's probably not going to be Commanders for a while longer.
That's fine. That's a dumb name. But going back to, hey, we got a new owner, so we're going to go with their racist name. What are we doing here?
A Native American group is backing it, which is weird.
Really?
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's a plot twist.
That is
plot twist. One quick thing though, before we get out of here, is Dolphins tackle Terran Armstead, one of the best in the league, got hurt today. Could be out for the Charger game. Who knows what happens? That's big.
That's
Joey
big.
Bosa. Start off on a hot streak. 3 sacks. Game 1.
Joey Bosa, 20 pounds light. 10. Is it 10 pounds heavier? 10 pounds heavier too. A little bit more power coming at your leg.
Ooh, what's the? Hey, do you know what the Joey Bosa sack total is for the year? The bet.
I do. That would take a lot of researching because that's hard to find. But if you gave me like an hour,
I'm guessing it's like 9.5, right?
Yeah, me too.
He's always around 9.5.
Yeah,
I think he has the over this year. I think he has a big year.
I just want to play 17 games. How's that?
There's lots of proof.
That's a lot. Yeah, that's a lot. I'd ask for 12 first.
7 or 17 games, whatever it's going to be.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. All right, we'll come back. We're gonna have a show right after the following the Charger Saints game. We'll have a show on Sunday ready to go. Just so you guys know, it's gonna be a little bit crazy here in Southern California. All right, I got one guy in Chicago, one guy in Nashville, Tennessee right now. Mario, I'm not joking when I tell you this.
Yeah.
We're supposed to have a hurricane in Southern California on Sunday.
Really?
Yes. And it would be interesting if it was, the same time as the Charger game because the way that roof is and everything else. But literally, we're supposed to have a hurricane in Southern California. It sounds bizarre. I've never seen one in Southern California before. But as we try and do the show, you guys might have trouble getting me on here. We'll see it. We'll see how it goes. But it's supposed to be crazy windy and a ton of rain and something we've never seen before for 24 hours here. So we'll see. You and Josh might have to hold down the fort.
Well, be safe, and we'd happily do it without you.
I'm sure you guys finally get some airtime. All right, we'll get on out of here, and we'll recap obviously the second preseason game. Thanks again for watching on YouTube, leaving comments, and of course listening to the Bolt City podcast, courtesy.